feel that before I continue with the actual subject of the video, I think this may need some disclosure. I will be discussing the recent controversy over at Google Ideas where the likes of Randy Harper, Zoe Quinn and Anita Sarkeesian were invited for a PR exercise and discussion on internet harassment. So here's a disclosure. I use Google AdSense to monetize my channel, although they are a different wing to Google Ideas entirely. I think it would be important to share that information with those who do not know and for sake of argument. Also, yeah, I use YouTube, another Google-owned entity. Now that's out of the way, we can begin. So, Google Ideas recently caught a lot of flack when they invited a group of people to their headquarters to discuss internet harassment and bullying. This group just happened to contain some of the people of whom, if you are clued in on even just a few of them, will make you scratch your head. This group contained most notably, and these will be the individuals discussed more than others, Randy Harper, Zoe Quinn, Anita Sarkeesian, and Rose Eveleth. But it's not just these individuals, but also how Google Ideas have handled the incident and how the parent company has responded. So the women I mentioned, why is this so controversial and why have so many people come out and criticised Google Ideas for this stunt? It's simple. These women have either participated in, profited from, or falsely accused and made up harassment. Particularly those four women in particular. We have Randy Harper, a well-known troll, harasser and inventor of the Blockbot. It's funny that a company such as Google Ideas that says Google Ideas builds products to support free expression and access to information for people who need it most. Those facing violence and harassment would turn to Randy Harper and the next two women for these reasons. Anita Sarkeesian, a professional victim who in her earlier Tropes vs Women days would actively provoke negative responses or hell, even downright invent harassment Twitter accounts in order to promote her videos whenever the video count was not high enough. She also happened to make $160,000 off Kickstarter just by people feeling sorry for her over her perceived harassment. She has also been a notable advocate of censorship, like Randy Harper. Zoe Quinn. This is a person who has doxed not one, not two, but three separate times. The first time was the website WizardChan, who were doxed by her because they did not like Depression Quest. Ironically, they were men who were suffering from depression. The second time was the Fine Young Capitalists, the creators of Vivian James, because she disagreed with how they ran their business. Apparently she doesn't like women being in video games unless they meet her criteria. Finally, the third time was her participation in the doxing of Mike Cernovich, the lawyer, author and pro-Gamergate supporter. She also participated in the censorship, abuse and harassment of her ex-boyfriend, Aaron Joney, before the gag order was eventually quashed due to the violation of his First Amendment rights. And finally, Rose Eveleth. This woman was the person who started the organised witch hunt against esteemed scientist and most famous for the Rosetta mission where he landed a probe on a comet, Matt Taylor, just because of the shirt he wore and was deemed sexist by these special snowflakes. Despite the fact it was made by a female friend of his, they drove him to tears because of their bullying and he had to apologise publicly on what should have been the greatest week of his life. So what were Google even thinking? Just what were they thinking? Just a cursory Google search of these women's internet exploits shows that they cannot be the people you want as mascots and supporters for your cause. But the problem is, the tweet they sent out with all these social justice warriors and radical feminists all together beaming at their great work was on purpose. It was to elicit a response from people to prove a point about harassment. Just read this tweet here. The replies to our last tweet are precisely why we are exploring ways to combat online harassment. This was a response to the backlash they received, which was mostly respectful criticism and ridicule. No Google Ideas. Just because you received criticism does not mean that this somehow justifies your draconian ways in dealing with harassment. It is hypocritical of the think tank to label us all as harassers while working and cavorting with people who have participated in and are still the leading harassers on Twitter. It is incredible the amount of hypocrisy on display here. Worryingly, Randy Harper in this screenshot seemed to imply she was going there specifically to try and get the Google algorithm changed in order to make her vile exploits on Twitter and the internet hidden from the public, backtracking and covering her tracks after her expose in Breitbart by Milo Yiannopoulos. The thing is though, this seems to be the type of world that we're living in at the moment, where the bullies are the bullied, the harassers are the harassed, and it seems nobody seems to be able to see through the bullshit but me, and I assume people who agree with me. This is what they said fascism would come back as, with a smile and claiming to be on the side of the oppressed, when really they are the oppressor. Google Ideas want to stop harassment, yet they are working with people who are only going to bring about the opposite. They will stop the harassment of these people, who will then have free reign to carry on with their own. It is absurd! Absurd! Thankfully, perhaps there is a silver lining to this debacle. In these screens, you see that the parent company is not at all happy with what their think tank has been up to, and it appears the PR campaign has utterly blown in their face, and perhaps these women will not be coming back to Google Ideas. The problem is, the damage was already done. It is another case of these social justice warriors crying wolf, and now people are going to be even less inclined to help these people who are actually being harassed, because those social justice warriors are getting all the help and using it to basically line their pockets. It's counterproductive, and it's only going to lead to more misery. But that is just my opinion, man. This has been CharmingMan93. Like and share the video, drop a comment, and I'll see you all later.